Good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk to you guys quickly about this term called the debt service coverage ratio. So once you get into properties above 4 units, so 5 plus, any commercial, most likely a commercial banker is going to mention to you what the requirement is when you're shopping around, what their debt service coverage ratio needs to be. Okay, so I'm going to dig into that here. And then I'll show you the formula and kind of what that actually looks like. So here we go. Debt service coverage ratio. So you may see it as DSCR. Okay, so it stands for the debt service coverage. Sometimes it's just that, but really it is a ratio. So sometimes you'll see the R there. Okay, so it is a formula. So let's say this is going to be with an investment property. So let's say the gross income is $5,000. That's all collected income. All the expenses, including taxes and insurance. So you got all your utilities, lawn care, snow removal, cleaning, vacancy, maintenance, all of that, plus the taxes and insurance. I separate that out because most of us, when we're familiar with just a regular mortgage, if we have it through escrow in a bank, we're sending principal, interest, taxes, and insurance to the bank, and we think that that is our mortgage. But really, that's not all debt service coverage. If you paid off your mortgage, you'd still have to pay the taxes and insurance for the rest of your life. Okay, those never go away. So that doesn't have to do with the debt service coverage. So the banks don't care about that as much. That gets lumped into the overall expenses of the property before going into the net operating income. Okay, so let's just say, for argument's sake, that this property generates $5,000 and that it has a 50% expense ratio. I think we went over that in a previous video. So 50% of the income is going out the door in expenses, including taxes and insurance. And then the net operating income, NOI, and we went over that in a different video, is also $2,500, 50-50 there. Okay, so let's say, for example, we have $2,500 for the net operating income. The formula for the debt service coverage ratio is the NOI divided by the debt service. And what I mean by the debt service is anything that it costs to actually pay your loan. So let's say for some reason you had a zero interest loan. Maybe that would happen. I don't know. That would be really weird. Then it would just be principal, right? But most likely you're going to be paying some interest, so it'd be principal and interest. And sometimes on these larger properties, you'll actually, for a short period of time, be able to negotiate a period of interest only. So then it would just be interest. So whatever is required, principal, interest, whatever ratio, amortized over however long, the actual payment, okay, the monthly or annual payment here, you could figure out what the annual NOI is or the annual loan is. I like to do it on the monthly for me personally to kind of see what the actual cash flow would be on a monthly basis. I collect rent every month. That's how I think monthly. So the loan would be the principal, interest. Those are the payments that I have to pay. So then that part would be down here. So NOI divided by whatever I'm paying for the loan is my ratio. There, plain and simple. So here's a couple examples. Let's say that your bank says, okay, for you to have this loan, you're going to pay taxes and insurance on yourself, or we can do it for you through an escrow account, whatever. The principal and interest portion is going to equal $1,667 a month. Okay. Now we would take the NOI, which is the $2,500. Okay, that's the larger number, but we would divide by the 1667. Okay, it doesn't matter that that's a smaller number in this circumstance. Okay, so you divide it by that and you get 1.5. Okay, so a 1.5 debt service coverage ratio is pretty good in my opinion. I think almost every bank would probably lend to you in this circumstance. The reasoning is they can look and see, hey, after all the expenses, you're going to be able to pay us and it's going to be profitable for you, okay? Because you're going to be able to cash flow. Look, the 500 plus a couple more hundred there. So you're going to be able to cash flow pretty well. It's going to be profitable for you. You're not going to want to lose this property. Plus, you're going to have money to stock away for savings in case, you know, anything were to go a little weird. All right? So then over here, let's say the principal and interest payments in this example are $2,000 a month. Well, then 2,500 divided by 2,000 is 1.25. I would argue that you would still be able to find some banks that would lend you on that. I've talked to some banks and it's like 1.25. Other banks it's like 1.3. I haven't met a bank that's actually said it has to be 1.5. However, I haven't had this conversation with too many bankers. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a general synopsis here of you know, really what this is, because as you get into this, I remember when I first heard about it, I was like, wait, what? A DSCR? Okay, a new formula, a new term I had to learn. Okay, so I learned it, and here I'm teaching you guys. Let's say it's $2,500 to pay the mortgage, the principal and interest, and that's what we were getting for the net operating income. All right, 2,500 divided by 2,500 is 1. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, guys. That means it's break even. You don't really want that property, right? It's if the gross income goes down just a little bit, you're losing money. If the expenses, utilities go up just a little bit, you're losing money. You're breaking even. It would be hard pressed to actually find a bank to lend you money on this, unless you had some crazy reason, like, oh, and then next month we're going to be able to pay it off, and then we can increase all this stuff. But still, this is really weird if you could actually get lending on that, because it's breaking even. It's really risky because you're not profiting at all, and if anything happens, then you're kind of underwater. You're having to feed this investment, and an investment should be a return on your money, not costing you more money, because then that'd be a liability, right? So then last example here, 3,125. Let's say that you had to borrow a lot. Okay, you are borrowing however much percent of the loan, okay, and you overpaid for it or something like that, and it's a high interest rate to where your principal and interest payment monthly is 3,125. Okay, even though it's the larger number, it's still the debt service, so it still goes down here. So 2,500 divided by the 3,125 is 0.8. Okay, when it's less than 1, guys, it means you're past breaking even. You're actually below that. You're actually losing money. This is going to cost you money every month. You're buying a liability, not an asset, aka it's not a good investment. So if it's a 0.8, a bank should not lend to you. Should not, all over this. They should not lend to you on this one, okay? So this is somewhat helpful, because maybe then when you're running your numbers and trying to see what would all look like, how much cash flow do I need? Well, maybe you could actually look at what's the bank requirement, because that's going to actually determine whether you can get it or not. But also, maybe their requirements of 1.3 or more is maybe kind of a decent standard to have. So lots of things go into this, but hopefully this was somewhat helpful. Debt service coverage ratio, NOI divided by the debt service coverage ratio. Go ahead, like, comment below, share. Love interacting with you guys. You have a good one. Thanks.